And the Executive Director of Social and Economic Rights Action Center, SERAC, Felix Morka, joins me live via Skype to discuss these developments. Good to have you join us, Felix Morka. Now, let's look at this latest development on the planned protest. The protesters have said they are going to protest on Saturday, but we're getting statements from the federal, the state, and even the police asking these protesters to shelve the protest. What do you make of all of this?
Thank you for having me. Now, the events of last October are still very fresh, both in the minds of our people in Lagos State and around the country. And the scar left behind by the protests and the violence that followed the protests are still very visible, even as you go about just ordinary life in the city of Lagos. Now, make no mistake, the citizens of this country have a right guaranteed by the Constitution to protest any issues that they consider to be important to them. But, now arising from the last protests, a panel was set up in the case of Lagos State to look into the circumstances of all of the complaints and the abuses and the high-handedness by the police, and to make decisions about how citizens who were affected are remediated. Now, I think that, everyone on all sides, including the citizens, including the young people, including the leaders of NSAS, we all need to take a deep breath and allow these processes to be concluded and for them to make decisions. Now, in the meantime, I think personally, I disagree with the decision of the panel to, even raise that conversation at this time over the repossession of the Lekki toll gate by the LCC. The panel itself should have been more sensitive and more attentive to the sensibilities and the fragility of the current circumstances, to defer that decision until they are ready to address this matter comprehensively. So to take an interlocutory interim discussion about repossession, I think was just really a provocation. It was very unnecessary. And I think that's why we are seeing the current reaction to that development. And I think that was a bit hasty.
When you look at all of the statements that have been put out, whether by the federal, state, the police, all of the party stakeholders involved, do you think that they really address the issue? Because the issue here, the bone of contention, is the reopening or the repossession of the Lekki toll gate. Do you think that these statements have addressed that issue?
No, they have not. I think that the same error, the same miscalculation by the panel is being glossed over by the state and the security agencies. They're focusing on the call for protest tomorrow, but they're not looking at the underlying trigger for this push to actually hold this protest tomorrow. I think that the government needs to really revisit the process of the panel, and if possible, have the panel suspend that decision to allow LCC to reopen the Lekki toll gate. That hopefully will calm the tensions, because if that is put under abeyance, then those who are calling for protests will similarly now realize that the reason they're calling for the protests has been withdrawn, and therefore to stand down. But we cannot abolish the right to protest. So government needs to be a bit more thoughtful and mature, and the panel as well has a responsibility to manage the process going forward because of the extreme sensibilities. The wounds have not healed. We all were traumatized by that violence.
And that's where, just allow me to quickly jump in, because that's the major thing, the fact that people haven't healed on all sides. And we see how resilient young people have become in Nigeria. Somebody said that last protest of last year was the birth of a new era in the country. But we also saw the hijack of that protest by hoodlums and how a lot of people lost, their business and property. So Nigerian youths are saying, look, they're going to come out on Saturday and protest, and the federal government is saying no, the police is saying no. So what do you expect from all sides? And even the side that says, that has tagged itself, the Defend Lagos group, what do you expect from all sides if they do go out to protest tomorrow?
No, my view, and I urge all sides to simply stand down. The government is responsible for the security of lives and property. Now, rather than mobilize police and the army to hit the streets tomorrow, I expect the government, and I call on the government, both the Lagos State government and the federal government, to look into the current trigger for this latest tension and to diffuse it, to called the panel to stand down on the decision to let the SEC proceed.
All right. Executive Director, Social and Economic Rights Action Center, Felix Morka, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us.